What is going on, my dudes? Tystra here, back again with another Genshin Impact video. And if you guys like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And as always, I would love to hear you guys' opinions in the comment section below. Before we get into today's topic, I am just really stoked because, as you can see, boom, your boys got snapbacks. So I will be including a link to my merch store today in this video and probably from now on. And yeah, if you guys want to snag one of these dope freaking hats, man, I am so happy with how it turned out. I'm going to be getting a couple more, to be honest, and I might even do giveaways, honestly. We have, you know, the snapback, we have trucker hats, we have baseball caps, we have beanies. Like, come on, man. I am absolutely in love with hats, and they did so well on this, and the color is a lot better than what I thought it was, because you guys know my channel. Like, I'm blue. I love it. But anyways, just wanted to put that out there, guys. If you like the hat, let me know, because it looks fire to me, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and get into today's topic. So we are going to be talking about the crossover series again, and we are on episode 4. And I kind of wanted to talk about this. I was a little nervous at first because I had forgotten about a couple things, and you guys might understand maybe after we switch screens here. But for part 4 of the crossover series, I was like, you know what? I really don't want to do anime per se, but I also want to make sure that I stay around the same topic. And of course, I was like, if we're not going to do a show, what kind of collab will we do? And honestly, what is one of the biggest things right now in all the world? Not just in America, but in all the world. That's right, boys and girls, and, you know, anybody who identifies as other things, or, yeah, you get what I mean. We are going to get into VTubers, and not just any particular VTubers. I'm going to be talking about the set of VTubers that actually kind of got me to look at VTubers in general, and that is going to be Hololive, EN, or Holo Myth. And now, like I said, a lot of people might know about some stuff in general when it comes to possible controversies, but honestly, this is going to be just a thing where we talk. You guys know the crossover series. We're gonna just talk about these characters and go over what they could do. So let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, we got Gaogura, you know, that type of thing. I gave a little bit of a hint, I think I would say a week prior, and that was the hint, the you know, type stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I went ahead and made her obviously Hydro because it made sense. She's a shark. But there will be a little bit of a change to something a little bit later on, but I won't go into details. Anyways, auto attack about 6 hits. I figured that with pull arms that would make sense. It's not too big of an issue. The auto attacks and plunging attacks are basically going to be around the same as normal plunging and auto attack, so just bear with me. So we're going to go into the skill, and honestly, I added this section, kind of new. Her role is going to be mainly a burst support. So yeah, Warcry. You know, that's her thing, you know? When skill is activated, all party members gain a 30% attack boost based off of Gaogura's max HP. This effect lasts for 6 seconds, and the cooldown is going to be 12 seconds. Now, I figured I'd go with this because I think that having that 30% extra attack boost is going to be fun, and especially since she would fill that support role. She's one of the biggest Hololive members, but I kind of thought, you know, wouldn't it be funny if we went and did a burst support instead of making her the main DPS. Let's go ahead and get into her burst. Trident of Atlantis. If you know Gouda, she's super happy about the fact that she got a trident in Minecraft, and it has become a staple, obviously being in her, you know, main design. So once Trident of Atlantis is activated, the trident is going to be stabbed into the ground. A circle radius AoE will be cast. Within the circle, the ground will turn blue into simulated water. Within the circle, oceanid sharks, so oceanid type sharks, will appear and attack opponents within the circle. This effect will last 10 seconds and cooldown is 15 seconds. So this is almost in the sense of kind of like how Ayato's is, and that's kind of where I got the basis off of, but the Ascensions are going to play a part in this. So, first Ascension Passive, when Trident of Atlantis is activated, whenever one of the sharks bites into the enemy, their defense is cut by 10%. I wanted to also give her this debuff because, one, when you take a bite, you know, you're not going to exactly be very defensive in that. You know, you've got scars now, so they open up easily. So I figured going and doing the 10% up to 40% is pretty decent, you know, especially when it comes to most enemies. Now, for the 4th Ascension passive, when the war cry "Ah" is activated, any enemy within its radius hears the war cry, they will be stunned for 2 seconds. And the reason why I wanted to include this is because with a lot of, you know, characters in general, like let's take Ayato for example. Ayato doesn't stun upon hit, especially since he's just slashing on his E. With at least war cry "Ah," I figured in tandem in a water-based team or a hydro team in this sense, that could actually work to Gura and Ayato's potential anyway. So I went with that. Utility passive, hydrodynamic. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. Gura is hydrodynamic. When Gura uses stamina through the water, she will dive just below the surface of the water, causes speed to be on par with running speed. Now, I kind of want to change this to more so on par with how Mona and Ayaka's speed is, but I figured running speed would be perfectly fine. It's not too big a deal. Up next, let's go into Amelia Watson. Now, Amelia Watson is actually one of my favorites in the Hololive Ing or Holomyth verse. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I made her a role of a sub DPS, and I put gauntlets as the weapon of choice because, you know, she doesn't really use a weapon, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to include gauntlets. I feel like I include gauntlets in like every single video I do for crossover, so my apologies. But she's going to have a 5-hit combo ranging from punching strikes, you know, uppercuts and haymakers. You know, I feel that that would be really dope, especially because, you know, Watson's one of those characters that loves to ground pound, which, by the way, we'll get into that right now. Amelia Watson jumps into the air, doing a somersault in the air. Once a full rotation is done, Amelia Watson lunges towards the ground with her butt. Loves a good ground pound. Causing the ground to shatter and causing AoE geo damage to all enemies within its radius. So yeah, she is a geo vision type. My apologies, I forgot to point that out. But cooldown 7 seconds, I figured that that'd be okay because it's kind of like, you know, the Ishi or Ushis and, you know, that type of stuff. So I figured it would kind of work. But yeah, I feel that this is kind of the perfect ability because of the fact that she loves to talk about the ground pound. So, burst, rocks, and blocks. If you know, you know. Amelia starts rapping with rhymes so funky fresh, they materialize. Everything rhyming with rock when this burst is activated will become real and hit opponents in the nearby area, causing AoE geo damage. Duration for 5 seconds and cooldown for 10 seconds. Now, obviously, people could be like, but Tystra, there's one word in particular that rhymes with rock, and that will not be included, though it would be absolutely hilarious if it did. By the way, don't mind me. My freaking mustache here is going up in my nose. So, first Ascension passive, let's talk about that. When the burst, rocks, and blocks is activated, double the amount of what is called out by Amelia will spawn, causing more AoE geo damage. So when she says rocks and blocks and socks and no, we're not going to say it. But I figured that'd be pretty dope. You know, like kind of doubling the amount of damage in the radius area would be really, really cool for this ability. 4th Ascension passive, Amelia's geo damage is increased by 40% when activating Amelia Watson's ground pound skill. Pretty self-explanatory because she is a sub DPS. I figured that would be a really cool thing to add to it. Utility passive, good work detective. Amelia Watson is able to find any and all specialties around all of Teyvat and mark them on the map with a magnifying glass stamp. I thought that would be a really cool thing because honestly, I couldn't think of anything else that would really work with Amelia in this sense. But I think it's pretty dope. Now this one, I'm going to be upfront about it. The cryo doesn't make sense for Ina. But the reason why I went with it is because I didn't want to double up on, you know, I didn't want to double up on visions. So I was like, either she's going to go Electro or Cryo. And honestly, it made more sense to have Calliope Mori as Electro personally. So I went with Cryo. Now, she's going to be a Catalyst user. And she's going to have the main role as a healer. And honestly, like a lot of people would be like, but Tystra in the Hollow Myth, you know, animated series thing, Ina freaking like soloing. I don't care. I wanted to go healer with this one because I wanted to do different things and kind of make it so that it's really cool. So here is what she can do. Obviously, it's the same stuff. 4-hit combo of tentacles inflicting cryo damage. So her tentacles sprout out and do all that stuff. I think it'd be dope. They're like little ink blotches being sent out. And then obviously when she plunges downwards, her tentacles surrounding her will be infused with the cryo element. And I really wanted to kind of make it so that she's always doing elemental damage. And a lot of people might go, well, what if we want to do a whole physical Barbara deal? No, that's not how this is working. I'm not doing crazy. No, but I figured this would still work. So, let's talk about the skill. Baby how did I do that? Octoina. Yes. I don't know why I thought it was an L for a second. My spelling was weird. Baby Octoina. When Ina Ninome activates Baby Octoina, a small octopus will appear on the field. This octopus will cling to any enemy nearby, taking 10% of Ina's attack stat out of the enemy's HP and healing the active member of your team on the field. Duration is around 10 seconds when attached, 5 seconds when not attached. Cooldown is 10 seconds when attached and 7 seconds when not attached. Now, the reason why I wanted to do that, because I know that the baby octopuses will not always attach to somebody. Let's say if you're like, just doing like a whole thing in, actual Mondstadt and you're running around and you accidentally activate it. Well, the lasting of it will not last that long. I figured that would help. But that's going to be what Ina can do as a healer. Let's talk about a burst. Burst, tentacle slap. Honestly, I was getting very uncreative by this point because I didn't know what I could do for Ina. I felt really bad because I don't watch Ina a lot, but we wanted to continue onward, so let's go ahead and get into it. When Ina Ninomea activates Tentacle Slap, whenever she hits an opponent with her tentacles, it causes cryo damage and has a 10% chance of freezing the enemy instantly. Duration is 10 seconds, cooldown is 15 seconds. Honestly, I thought that was kind of cool because it kind of plays into almost kind of like a God, how can I miss her name? I feel so bad. Hold on. Kokomi, that's what it is. I wanted to kind of go for a Kokomi approach, but I was like, wouldn't it be cool if one of your heroes or one of your characters could actually instantly freeze an opponent without having to worry about Hydro? And that's where I kind of tied the Hydro into her, was so that she could instantly freeze opponents because she, octopus are in water. So, let's go ahead and get into the first Essentia Passive. When Tentacle Slap hits an enemy, your team will heal equal to 70% of the damage received by the opponent. So, that was another thing too, is that you could kind of build her as an HP build, or you could build her as DPS, and you're still going to get those heals, so I wanted to give her a little bit more utilization in that sense. Fourth Essentia Passive, damage output of Baby Octoina is increased by 20% each time Baby Octoina hits the opponent. So, I was going with, when attached, you have 10 seconds, and she's going to hit 5 times in total. So, 5 clicks gives you 100% damage on that 5th click. So, I figured that'd be cool, in that sense, and give her those damage capabilities. Now, her utility passive, when Ina Ninomiya crafts character talent materials, she has a 10% chance to receive double the product. And the reason why I went with that is because she is an artiste. She does a lot of really good drawings and art. That's one of the reasons why I do watch her every now and again. But she does fantastic art in general. It's beautiful. So, definitely keep that up, Ina. And I hope that I did you proud by this if you're watching this somehow. Now let's talk about Miss Calliope Mori, the rap god of the Hollow Mythverse. I went ahead and made her the DPS of this whole group of rapscallions. So, she's going to be the DPS. She's going to be a two-handed sword. Now, bear with me before you start freaking out and be like, but Tystra, why didn't you give her scythe? We're going to get to that, okay? So, auto attack 4-hit combo of slashes horizontal and vertical. Calliope forces her sword downward, causing AoE physical damage when she springs down with her sword. Now, the skill, Death Clap. Calliope Mori summons 2 electro-infused skeletal hands. One hand on each side of the enemy. When the hands clap together, it will do electro damage to the enemy and cause the enemy to be sent backwards. So, like, you know how when the Hilichurls go and you hit them hard enough with a charge attack and then they just bounce back? That's kind of how this would work. I digress. Burst, Death's true form, and this is where the scythe comes into play. Calliope Mori wields her trusted weapon, her scythe. When in this state, I put stat, but I meant state, my apologies. Calliope Mori's attacks will be infused with electro damage, and attack speed will go up by 25%. All auto attacks, charge attacks, and plunging attacks will change. So basically, instead of doing the 4 slow slashes, she's going to be able to use her, scythe however she wants. I don't know how to wield a scythe, so don't use these hand movements as such, but she's going to be able to use those movements in her own way. All electro damage dealt will be increased by 40% during activation, so she's going to get also an attack buff during this. So, duration is going to be 15 seconds, which I felt was pretty long, but at the same time, this is like Calliope Mori is meant to be like super strong, especially since she is death. And then cooldown is 20 seconds because I felt that was the necessary thing to do. First Ascension Passive, when in Death's true form, every enemy slain by Calliope Mori will give 6 energy to all team members. So again, I made Mori extremely powerful as a DPS and a must-have on the team. Fourth Ascension Passive, Death Clap now has 2 charges, and damage done by Death Clap is increased by 15%. So, like I said, I really wanted to increase the amount of DPS and give her reasons why you could use her as solo. So, Utility Passive, Moro cost for character ascensions for all Hololive members is reduced by 50%. The Utility Passive, I just wanted to be like, okay, it's there. It's something that we don't see. It's only going to be used for 5 members of Hololive. But I didn't give it a name, or not really a name, but I didn't really give it too much thought for this because I felt with her DPS, that's what people are going for, not her utility passive. And with the other ones, I felt the utilities would actually work better for them. So when it comes to Calliope Mori, I wanted to focus solely on the abilities and not really on the utility passive. So. And then, of course, we have one of my other favorites, Kiara Takahashi. And Kiara is a fantastic member of Hololive. Love listening to her. She kind of, I don't know what it is, but she gives off, the whole too innocent vibe, but then has those moments of just like, nah. So, anyways, I made her a one-handed sword user because look at the picture right here. Look at that picture. Plunging attacks normal, 5-hit combo. Figured that would make sense. Now, let's get into the skill. Phoenix Blessing, which this will tie into the role that I have her as when it comes to support. So, Phoenix Blessing. When Kiara Takahashi activates Phoenix Blessing, a phoenix flies forward in a straight line, causing minor AoE pyro damage. When a party member stands in the AoE that the phoenix made, they will gain a 50% damage buff. So this is to kind of play alongside with, Kujosara and, say, Bede. Sorry. It's pretty late at night right now, and I've been up for a while. Anyways, so when it comes to this, I gave it a cooldown of 6 seconds, duration 6 seconds and a cooldown of 10 seconds. I truly felt that this wasn't too bad, but I did kind of bump it a little bit in the first Ascension Passive, but we'll get into that here in a second. Burst, Phoenix Rebirth. When Phoenix Rebirth is activated, Kiara Takahashi's bird form envelops her. Sorry, there's a lot of I wish I was an editor. I could edit these out. My apologies, guys. But Kiara Takahashi's bird form envelops her, and then an AoE circle of feathers appears. While in the circle, any damage inflicted to enemies will be accumulated and added together. Then all party members will be given HP back equal to 50% of the damage inflicted. I thought this was a cool ability, and I kind of combined Kazuha's ability almost with a brand new kind of healing type to it. So I figured that'd be really, really cool. Duration 12 seconds, cooldown is 20 seconds. Now, first Ascension Passive. During Phoenix Rebirth, any members of the party that are incapacitated will be revived with 20% of the damage accumulated as HP back. So instead of getting the full 50%, any member of the team that is incapacitated or dead in this sense, or fainted, however you want to say it, will be revived with 20% of their health. Which I thought wasn't too overpowered, but at the same time, it's a pretty decent ability to have. Fourth Ascension Passive. Any enemy defeated in Phoenix Blessings AoE will grant the current party member 6 energy back. So if you combine her with Calliope Mori, in this sense, you're going to be getting energy back like crazy. So, alright, and then Utility Passive. When Kiara Takahashi is in your party and you are cooking a food, there is a 10% chance that the food will become a fried version of said food. This will increase the effectiveness of each food by 10%. I went with this because, you know, she's got the fried chicken restaurant, you know, that type of stuff. Figured I would tie in a lot of, you know, like, not really memes, but, you know, Easter eggs of these characters. So, honestly, I'm very happy with this one. This took me the full week to do. Usually it takes me a couple days to go through and find 2. But I really wanted to give the Hololive EN members their moment to shine. And this isn't going to be the only one of the Hololive members that I do. Especially if you guys request it. I would love to hear you guys' opinions on this and hear your suggestions for the next set of Hololive members that we could see in Genshin Impact, you know? There's a Hololive English logo right there. But anyways, that's going to be it for today. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Did you guys like this episode of Crossover? And would you like to see more episodes that are like this? I would definitely like to hear you guys' opinion. Again, guys, that is freaking sick. I can't get over it. But like, comment, subscribe. Love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you guys in the next video. Take care and be safe.